A glorious early summer morning here in the Sabi Sand. My name is James Henry. That's Nyala over there, as I said. Haven't seen one of those for a little while. Gendre is on camera. Hello, Gendre.
Hello, James.
There is his thumb. Marvellous. And, of course, behind us, Rexon is on security detail and tracking today. That's on the bushwalk. We've got Scott and Taylor out in the Maasai Mara. That terrified Nyala is now running away at the sight of Gendre's thumb. And also, we have Noel heading down towards Chitwa. There's an array of talent in the final control, headed by Kirsten McLennan-Smith, ably assisted by Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. No, that's not her real surname, but I'm not going to tell you her real surname. And, of course, we have got Alex and Conrad in there, doing various twiddling of knobs and pushing of keys and that sort of thing. Good. Marvellous to have you with us. Please do talk to us. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Otherwise, you can use the YouTube chat stream to ask us any questions, send us any comments that you might have. I would like to tell you that I am very pleased to be back here. It is very nice to be back here at Djuma. We have a situation of dryness, and I said to Tristan yesterday, I said, but it can't be nearly as dry as it was last year, and he said they were looking at footage of it at this time last year, and it actually apparently is a little bit drier, and that is because, of course, last year there was 20 millimetres of rain very early on, the end of September, and they haven't had that this year. But what I think is quite telling as we walk over this landscape here is that there is a slight flush of green around where my stick is pointing there. Can you see that, Andre? Yes, good. And also, I think that the sward, that's a fancy way of saying the grass, is thicker than it was this time last year. I think we had an extended drought period last year, and I think that most of these plants here, like this tufted and perennial here, were much thinner, and I think the space between the grass was that much greater than it is this year. So I think we're in for a better season. I don't think it's going to be nearly as dry as we think, and we always expect in the Sabi Sand and in the Lowveld in general, this sort of area of South Africa, we expect there to be some sort of rain as soon as winter disappears, which of course is at the end of August over here. It happens almost like that. And so for September and October and much of November, we go on about how dry it is and how the rains haven't come yet and when will they ever come. And I can't remember it ever being this dry before, but it happens every single year. We would expect proper rain to start somewhere at the middle of this month. If it doesn't, then yes, there will be trouble. So that's the state of play here. Now, thank you very much for all of those of you, the two of you, I believe, who've welcomed me back. I love you very dearly. Thank you very much. I think we're now going to head across to Chitwa, to Noel, to say hello to her.
Good morning. Good to have James back and on a bushwalk. We all love a bushwalk. I am out with Senzo today in Windy, and we have some beautiful male kudu for you. It is a lovely, cool morning. I am Noel. This is Safari Live, as we know from James earlier. You can follow us interactively. Hashtag Safari Live at the Twitter or YouTube chat. We are going to go back to our kudu quickly, because they amazingly have not run away. Look, kudus are not always relaxed. Kudus like to be inside the thick bush. It's one of the ways that they've filled their niche. So big ears so they can hear better, and then very particular browsers. Now, even with these males who have these gorgeous horns, if you can see how they spiral like that, that's all made for blending into the thick bush as well. You can actually see you can see beautiful little oxpeckers climbing around the neck. Oxpeckers have a very thick, stiff tail that allows them to have sort of a third leg, allows them to move in and around on top of the animals' bodies like that without falling off. Now you can see a second male kudu that's there. Usually, in general, male kudus will be in small little bachelor groups like this. They're only with the females when they're ready to mate. And they carry on their lives in pure bachelorhood, enjoying each other's company. Okay, so already this morning, Sens and I have been tracking some hyenas, and they have moved up and down, lying up and down in the road. We are going to head towards one of the dams to see if we can either pick them up, or I have a feeling that they might be following something like a leopard. We're just going to check the area that Hassana was, well, not seen in that I know of, but the tracks were there yesterday. So I'm just checking the cut line quickly to make sure he hasn't crossed. Our hyenas actually walked through there. And then we'll pop up onto the dam wall, and maybe we get lucky, maybe they're drinking. Oh, this is a perfect temperature. I think, Kirst, just remind me, it's 20. 20 and 68, so 20 is good. It's chilly, but it's all right. But we have Taylor all the way up north in the Masai Mara. She would like to say hello. So as we're busy searching.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another stunning day in the Mara Triangle. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Jahawi, aka Jah, aka Mr. Kravitz. You can call him whatever you like. We should get creative. We actually need to start coming up with some nicknames. We've been a little bit slack over the past few weeks. We've let Jah and Elka settle in now, but I feel like we can start with the teasing. I think they know us well enough now. Now, this is live, this is interactive, it's happening right now, so remember to have some chats with the guides today. So you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or you can also talk to us via the YouTube chat. And we're going to be doing a little bit of birding, I think, this morning. So maybe we'll go down this way. And I'm really hoping to get that emerald cuckoo and hopefully the Narina Trogon before Scott. I know Scott's been itching to put it on screen, so we're going to try our best to beat him this morning. I sound like Brent now, don't I? And also, how amazing that Mr. James Henry's back. Oh my gosh, everyone must be so excited. I can't wait to get my autograph from him as well. No, I'm really teasing. I always like to tease James. All the girls swooning over him all the time. And I think we need to make a concerted effort to welcome him back, because he's been gone for so long. So I think there needs to be much teasing of James today. Oh look, there's a big bird down here. We'll show you in a split second. I just hope it doesn't fly away. Maybe we can do the Ugly Five today, seeing as though we're about to start with one of our first members. I always like to in one sighting, and I think that could be possible too. But here we go, a big old marabou stork. Now, Jared's buddy, you're wondering how my car's going this morning? Oh, it's fine. We didn't break down or anything in terms of mechanical issues. What had happened was our charger wasn't working, and it didn't charge the batteries up properly while we drive. So we've had to manually charge them. So that's what happened. There was just not enough power to run the broadcast system. Unfortunate, but it's one of those things. You are an ugly looking bird. I can see why you are number one in the list of the not the big five, the ugly five. They really aren't pretty creatures. Just marching on. And they smell. They are such stinky creatures. Actually, hyena, marabou storks, vultures don't particularly smell nice either. Warthogs, they're just stinky in mud. Wildebeest, I cannot stand the smell of wildebeest. So, to me it smells like old butter that's been left out in a pan for days. It's so terrible. And so there we go. We'll try and do that. Although we might have to go to the other side of the river to show you a wildebeest, because there don't seem to be any left in the triangle except for the 6 that live up on the escarpment. I wonder how they're doing. I haven't seen them for quite some time either. Okay, we're going to head all the way along the forest. Maybe we'll see some black and white cast hornbills to add to our list, and then we'll hug the other side of the forest and head towards the area where we heard all the birds chirping yesterday. Scott is just a little bit further down the road. He said he needs to go to the river. It sounds like a song. Let's go and see how his morning's going.
Hello everyone. Our morning is going quite splendidly indeed. My name is Scott and I'm teamed up with Manu on camera. Like Taylor said, we're a little bit ahead of her. And I'm thinking of actually sneaking into the section of forest where she had a glimpse of an arena Trogon yesterday, but didn't manage to get it on camera for you guys. We're having a bit of a duel. But I'm only kidding. Of course, I would not sneak into her secret special section of forest where she intends on going back to this morning. And I wish her all the best. I'm going to give her a head start this morning. I'm going to let her do the birding for the first part of the safari. And I might finish off with some birding a little bit later towards the end of drive. Our plans for now are to head kind of back into the area where Scar and the Paradise Pride of Lions can be found. They spend time on both sides of the river, so there's no guarantees that we'll find them, but I'm hoping that we do. And I've got a little bit of a personal quest, which I'm sure a lot of you will be happy with, because Scar is such an impressive lion that I would really like to get some decent photographs of him. I haven't got one decent photograph of any actually big male lion since I've been here. So that is my plan, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the fruits of that. If we do in fact get lucky, let's send you across to some hippopotamus who are out of the water.
Look at them go, look at them go. I had to reposition because they're running. Don't run behind the termite mound all the way down. They're on a roll. Well, they will be rolling if they stumble over their feet. Oh, now they've settled down. I don't know what got them so sort of riled up. Surely these hippo have seen me enough. We're at this little man-made pan, and they live down in here. Looks like mom and a youngster, perhaps. Oh, I don't know why they're so nervous. What else have we got going on? We've got some very angry birds. Are those little chicks? I don't know. Just in there, some wattled lapwings, and I can see some tiny little ones running on the ground too. They are. They're so small. Look at those little chicks. Oh, careful. Your legs aren't long enough to bounce around on the grass. Looked like there were two of them. They look very much like the blacksmith lapwing chicks, don't you think? But I suppose all these birds that live down on the ground and at the water's edge will have very, very similar camouflage when they are young. Oh no, I think there's three. I mean, ideally they need to blend in well. They blend in okay to the grass, but I found them easier to spot on the green rather than when they're sort of on the gravel and all the stones with the whites and the blacks and the browns. They blend in much better. And then when they just sit down, they're completely camouflaged, and there's some little things flying around too that the adults didn't seem too happy about. Lots and lots of little LBJs that all look the same. Probably find there's testiculars. We must actually go and have a look in some of the marshy areas on all the big reeds and try and identify some of the warblers. I'm pretty sure there's going to be quite a few different warbler species out here. Probably a few new ones for me as well. So that can also be on the agenda. Maybe that will be for this afternoon though. We can't do all the birds at once. First thing in the morning for us with light is the best time, of course, for forest birds, so we'll be doing that. Now, James, you're wondering if I've ever had to save any birds from predators. Yes, my cat. I had a cat, his name was Catty, very original. My mom said there were two name options that I gave her when I was little, when I was about 3 and 4 years old. She said Catty and Sammy Turtle. She obviously went with Catty because Sammy Turtle is just the most ridiculous name ever for a cat. And he used to bring in lots and lots of birds which I had to save. And then I used to think I was a vet when I was younger, Dr. Taylor, and I would try and rescue them and save them and get them up. Sometimes they would die, sometimes they would live, or I'd put them in the garden and they would just be gone the next day. Whether the cat went back and ate them again, I'm not sure, or if they actually got away. I tried though. I think I should get some points for effort. So those are the only things I really save from, well, birds from predators. Otherwise it's just unfortunately one of those things. I once had a very sad sighting and actually almost made me cry. I was taking these guests, they had a private vehicle, lovely young honeymoon couple, and we were driving. I don't know why I'm laughing, that was very inappropriate. I'm about to tell you a sad story. When I get nervous I giggle. Driving along this road and I see there's 2 turtle doves on the ground. I may have told you the story. and one looked like it had not a broken neck, but it was just lying quite sort of limp, but it was still alive, and its mate was sitting next to it. And it was very sad. It looked like either a caracal or a jackal or a serval or something had tried to grab it, and then it managed to get away. But unfortunately was left with some damage, and I felt really, really sad just because its mate was sitting there and staying with it. It was really quite a heartwarming sighting. I kind of wish though that the animal that tried to get it would just come back and eat it and finish what it started, because it looked like it was in so much pain. Anyways, we carried on though. We didn't stay there for very long. Right, we're going to go all the way back to South Africa now for the manliest man you ever did see. He's walking around on foot and his name is James.
I'm the manliest man she's ever seen. Well, that is a comfort. Here I am at the Djuma Dam. I nearly forgot what this place was called, but then I saw the lodge and I realized it was Djuma Dam. We had a terrapin flipping about on its back in there, which was a little bit odd, because although terrapins like to have fun as much as the rest of us, flopping about on their backs is not something they do, so I suspect that terrapin is about to, well, pass on, shall we say. Then there is a blacksmith lapwing at the far end of this great swathe of water, probably about 3 inches deep at its deepest point. There we are. And there was also a 3-banded plover, which has since disappeared. It is somewhere around here. Also, if you listen very carefully, I will whistle it for you because I know there's no ambient microphone on this. You can hear the following. That, of course, is the miserable black cuckoo, and it is calling somewhere up there in the drainage system. And in fact, they have come back to all of the country. They were calling down in the Eastern Cape where I had my leave, and so they're back, indicating the summer. And I've no doubt soon I will hear the red-chested cuckoo going, and then I will be very certain, of course, that summer is here. Good. Okay, let us continue on our way. We are heading down towards the sort of central areas of the reserve to see if we can find the tracks of Thandi. Hopefully, of course, the Karula has not returned since I left. She's not going to return, I'm afraid, as we've all accepted now. James, you're wondering if we put water out for the animals if it gets very dry. James, no, we don't put water out for the animals. This is water that we've put out for the animals largely. This is a dam. It is a drainage system, and we've put a great big wall across it so that the water is collected. Now, there's a huge amount of debate as to whether or not this is a good idea. I won't go into that now. But if this dries up, no, there won't be further water provision in this area. There is a huge amount of water provision in the Greater Kruger National Park area, which numbers something like 8 million acres, so 3.5 million hectares. So within that area, there is plenty of water, certainly in the perennial rivers, so animals can move to the water if they need to, but it does mean that areas like this, where there are no perennial rivers, well, they can start to look quite dry, but no, we will not put out bowls of water for the animals. This is the water provision that happens. So we're going to head off towards the middle of the reserve now, and while we do that, we're going to head across to Noel, who I believe has got something that will tell you to get lost.
All right, so we had some beautiful gray go-away birds for you. They have decided to be that guy today and go into the bushes just as we come live. So we're sitting at this mud pan. We're still following our hyena tracks. Senzo, we have a gray go-away bird back. All right, before he flies off, we're going to show him to you. There we go. Beautiful. So his old name is a gray luri. So we had lories here, and then a similar bird species, a turako. We're in South America, I believe. So we've been talking about it for a couple days now about the bird name changes. So his name changed not from a lory to a turaku, like the purple-crested lory is now a purple-crested turaku. I'll show you a photo in a minute. Because he doesn't have the same pigments, the same coloration pigments as his cousins, he has been changed to the gray go-away bird. Now James is on a walk at the moment, so if this bird sees James, he's going to start going, "Go away, go away," in a very annoying manner. They also do it for predators as well. Kirst is saying in my ear, very good. Thank you, Kirst. I appreciate that. It is early. All right. So let's just have a look here before we get all confused. Sorry, sun's in my head. Okay, so here's our gray go-away bird. He has what's called melanistic pigments, so it makes him all gray. Then the Ross's turaku, which used to be a Ross's lory, I believe Taylor or Scott showed you all the other day. I have not seen this bird yet, but you'll notice the red and the bluish purple. It was Scott, Kirst says, thanks Kirst. And then the purple crested turaku, which we get here. And then if we go up, we've got Neisner, Schlaus, and Livingstons. I've seen Neisners. I haven't seen Schlaus and Livingstons. But notice the 5 birds, other than the gray go-away bird, lots of red, lots of greens, a little bit of purple. They have what are called tyrosine pigments, which give them that color. So the turaku name comes from that pigment tyrosine, and then that also streamlines across the world wherever they exist to have the same sort of name. And then Shame, our poor little gray go-away bird here, he got the gray go-away bird name. It is probably my least favorite bird name change of all time. I understand why, but to say a lory is so nice. Okay. So now that we've done our gray go-away bird, I actually have to get back to, which is one of the reasons why we stopped at the mud pan, to a question that I presented to everybody a couple of afternoons ago. So I have my friend that's busy doing his senior track and sign assessment. He's done his first full day. His second full day is today. So I should know this evening or tomorrow how he's done. And this is one of the prep photos he did for himself. Well, he went out, he took this photo, and that he sent to me, and I displayed it for everybody the other day, and this was one of the ones that I couldn't answer, and he hadn't given the answer to me. So I thought about it, and I was like, look, no, I don't know this one. We can't know everything. We learn something new every day. So 2 days ago, this was my something new. So what we're looking at is we're looking at this, and this happens in mud pans like we were just showing now. This is sand beetle larvae that are busy burrowing under the mud like this. It's absolutely incredible. I'm fascinated by this image and this thought. So I've been trying to find it for you to show you in the field. I haven't found it yet, but when I do find it, we will definitely have a look at it. So that's my new thing for the day. We are going to head to some different insects that are up north with Taylor. I believe she has some termite for us. Termites are incredible. They're a huge part of the ecosystem, and I hope that she shows you something interesting and fun up that side.
We do. Now, do you remember a couple of mornings ago I said to you we were going to try and find some termites, and we were out of luck. Most of the chimneys had all been closed up. But after last night's rain, we've got some termites. How exciting. Now, they're particularly tiny. I mean, they're really, 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 really small. Maybe less than a centimeter in length, definitely. And you can see them just working on one of the little chambers now. One of the chimneys. There's lots of them around there. And I said to you I was going to try and identify them. So I was just trying to very quickly, and seeing as I have signal, do a search on the interweb to see if I can get a list of types of termite species that occur here. And I'm very upset by what popped up. The most recent searches for termites in Kenya were ones to try and eradicate them. Sort of, well, pest control services. I was so saddened by that. If only people realized how important these creatures were to the ecosystem, and without them, it would collapse completely. So I know it's tough if you do live in a wooden house. It's not particularly great, but try and not murder all the termites in the world. We really need them, and they're very tasty. They're my favorite thing in the bush to eat. So maybe if you could take some screenshots, we can try and have a look in an insect book. I think you've got your insect book here. Not on you, hey, but back in camp. Hey, John. So we'll try again, and we'll have a look through there. I'm sure termites will feature, and we're back with the midges. back with the midges, but they're quite cool. Those were just all the workers though. The soldiers are a little bit bigger than that. They're not particularly massive, and it's actually a bit like a graveyard at the moment. I'm going to see if I can't actually get out of the car. The reason why is because my earpiece is now gaffer taped, but I will show you. Let me do this. On the side of the road, there's some lovely little shiny things. It's so beautiful. It's like nature's confetti, except it's not. Look at all that. All that stuff on the road, not the dew, these things. That is the wings of the alates that were released from the mounds from these termites. So I think the one there's an ant. Hello, ant. So obviously the ones that we've been seeing flying around have indeed been from termites and not from ants. Very cool. They've either been eaten or perhaps they've shed their wings as they've gone underground. It could be a number of different things, but quite cool though. Right, let's carry on. We're trying to bird and we keep getting distracted. No, not we. I keep getting distracted by everything else that hasn't got feathers, which is a bit annoying because we're missing the best time to go and do some birding in the forest. But I'll try and make up for it. I promise. We shall drive a little bit quicker. I did take the scenic way around this morning because I was hoping to get some different hornbill species and maybe. Yeah, crowned hornbills. I've only seen them a couple of times, but I've seen them around here, in fact. So I'm just checking the tops of the trees or to see if I see that classic sort of hornbill sailing moment. Now, Jake, great question from you this morning with regards to the termites. You're wondering what is the most important role of the termites, well, in the bush. They're decomposers. So they don't just decompose vegetable matter, they'll decompose pretty much everything that you can think of. So they recycle the nutrients back into a way in which the ground can reabsorb them. So very important for that, for decomposing. Without the decomposers, so even without things like scavengers, you'd have a big problem. There'd be a lot of disease that would be brought about, all these types of things. So they're pretty much scavengers, termites, and anything else that it will decompose. They all go hand in hand together. They all help one another out. And so yeah, so it's essentially it's very, very important to have them around. And then also they're a food source, a very, very valuable food source for a lot of species out here. Many different things eat them. I mean, you even see unlikely animals that you would never think would eat a termite, like a hyena. Or pretty much hyena to me always surprises me when I see them lapping up the alates as they're being expelled from the towers of the mounds. So food, very important for food as well. I mean, for instance, aardvark, not pangolin, predominantly eating ants, but like things like aardwolf and anything else that will eat small insects. They rely on termites. I say, without termites, the ecosystem would collapse. Now it feels as like I'm doing a bushwalk this morning, but from the car, focusing on all the small things. James is obviously out. You've seen him a few times, and he's got something that's got 8 legs.
No, this one's got 6 legs, Taylor. Insects, Taylor, have 6 legs, not 8, Taylor, just 6. I'll help you with that when I see you next, Taylor. Anyway, this is a combretum flower, and we were in fact looking at a spider. It's not that Taylor genuinely thinks that, of course, that spiders have got 6 legs, or that insects have got 8 legs. She doesn't. She knows the difference. I'm going to stop talking about that now. There is a strange beetle, or weevil, which is a kind of a beetle, just crawling around on this combretum flower. It is a red bush willow flower, and it smells very delicious indeed. I haven't smelt the insect. I've smelt the flowers, but not the insect. I don't think the insect smells at all. Do you, Jean-Andre?
Yeah, we should test this.
We should test it. Okay. Then we've also got crab spiders here. That was the original one. Here it is, Jean-Andre. You see where my finger is? There. It's hiding. It is now. If you could stop bashing the tree with your immense frame, Jean-Andre, that would be very helpful.
Okay, Parky.
There we are. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. That is the crab spider. Any jerkiness in this picture has got entirely to do with Jean-Andre, not me. I'm holding the branch net still. So there is this crab spider, and you can see how beautifully camouflaged it is. It looks almost exactly like the flower, or certainly the same colours. And every one of these flowers, I think, has got a little suite of those strange spotted weevils or beetles, and a crab spider or two. Now look how it just disappears as it climbs onto the top of the flower. Isn't that amazing? So some poor insect is going to climb along there. I think these beetles are probably a bit big, but some ant or some small fly is going to come and land on these flowers and be devoured by the crab spider. Horrible way to go, really. Now let us have a sniff. Ah, it is the smell of summer here in the Lowveld. There we are. James Richard, nice to talk to you again. I hope that you have been well in my absence. You say the Waltherias do not seem to be flowering yet. When can we expect them to? James, I suspect that when the groundwater gets to a certain level, they will flower. Remember, heat is not a major problem here, even in the wintertime, and they last quite a long time into the winter. So I suspect that they are largely not so much light and temperature dependent, but water table dependent. So they are not perennials, they're annual flowers, and so it will depend on when we get our first sort of good rains, which I don't think we've had yet. Anyway, now apparently we are going to go back across to the Mara in the next 10 seconds or so. He's got something small that will eventually become quite tall.
Hello, and sounds like you had an interesting sighting with James there. Flowers and little bugs and spiders. We couldn't resist but stop and share this beautiful scene with you. The sun is just beginning to poke out above the cloud bank, and what a wonderful subject to light up. A young giraffe. It's not alone. There are some other giraffes in the area, as well as a toilet behind it. This is a one toilet stop called Hippo Pools. It's a viewpoint and a spot for the tourists to stretch their legs. So that's what that little building was behind there. Beautiful. We've made a quite good distance this morning. We haven't been stopping for lunch, hence why you haven't come back onto our vehicle since I said hello. But we do have a goal, and that is to try and seek out Scott. Basically anywhere from where we are here, further downstream for the next 2 or 3 miles is his territory on this side of the river. So we can start slowing down our search for him and also just enjoy whatever else we see along the way. Wonderful. Beardew would like to know where are the rest of the giraffe in this herd, and they're all just dotted off in front of where that youngster was heading towards. They've all just put their heads down. Literally, when I looked across, there's maybe one at 10 o'clock that you might be able to get, 1 or 10 or 11. There we go, well done. Ah, there they're popping their heads back out. Not only mom, but that, not necessarily dad, but that is a male. It's unlikely that that young giraffe's father will be with the herd, but who knows? It's a female down to the left, though. Much smaller ossicones, or horn-like structures. It's a great example to compare between male and female ossicones here. He has got quite chunky ones, and now that he bent over briefly, you could see that he was bald on top. The females will not be bald on top of their ossicones. I wonder if the giraffe and the mara have any kind of back problems, if there's a giraffe chiropractor here that has to manipulate them back into shape, because they do an abnormally large amount of bending over to get the food that they want, because, of course, there's not a huge amount of trees here for them to feed. They definitely do seem happy and unperturbed by this, but I guess they just get used to it. Hello, Kylie. You'd like to know if giraffes can get scoliosis. I don't have a clue, but I would guess that the answer to that is no. Most of our human weaknesses, things like scoliosis, will be weeded out by Mother Nature and her natural selection. Because us as humans don't live as we used to, and we have lots of modern-day benefits, doctors, healthcare, a lot of people essentially are kept alive that wouldn't ordinarily many years ago, and that allows those genes to then spread. But in nature, that doesn't happen. Just with us. So, I don't think it would be the case. I've certainly never seen one. I mean, scoliosis is something that you'd very, very easily notice. I mean, even on humans, you can very easily notice. I've got a friend who's got scoliosis, and the one side of his back's got this ginormous big muscle on it, and the other one's void of it. Quite interesting. He's got like an extra fillet running down one side of his spine, but nothing on the other. Marvelous. Let's head off. Those giraffe are playing hide and seek with us. So we will let them hide and go off and seek something else, rather. So the road kind of peels away from the river, but we will make our way back along it and hopefully find some interesting stuff along the way. And we're going to send you now back to Taylor to see what she's getting up to.
We finally arrived on the right side of the forest that we need to be, so we're slowly making our way to where we were yesterday. I haven't actually stopped to hear if the birds are singing it. I'll do so in 2 seconds when I get up a little bit closer, and then we'll try and figure out what's going on. Now I'm going to take my earpiece out so I can hear. Let's see if we can listen. Oh, I can hear it. Can you hear it, Ja? Sounds very far away, though. Lots and lots of different birds chirping this morning. Another one I'm hoping that we can maybe find, and the forest could be a good area. You can hear the emerald spotted wood dove, that toot, 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 toot. Now, there should theoretically be tambourine doves here too. And, sorry, I have a bug in my eye, which is so fantastic. You all know how much I like it. I'm going to play the tambourine dove call for you. It's very similar, except right at the end it's toot-toot-toot-toot-toot-toot. It's a double sort of tune. I don't know how to even describe that. Let's go D for doves. Let's have a look here. No, not those ones. We're looking for the nice, colourful ones. tambourine with a big white breast. Are you ready? Slightly faster, but very, very, very similar. There was always a good joke in the Eastern Cape when the new guides came and you'd hear a tambourine dove calling and you'd say, okay, cool, what's that? And then everyone would go, emerald spotted wood dove, and think that they were a hero, and then you weren't. I did that too. I also shouted it out like that and thought I'm so proud of myself that I could identify that call and then only to be told that I was wrong and that I was hopeless at birds. So we'll try and keep an eye out for some tambourine doves as well, or even just to start to hear them. I heard that emerald cuckoo is far in the thicket, but we'll carry on around. Maybe we'll head to the same spot that we were at and we'll get lucky and we'll be able to find another one, or an arena trogon. I didn't hear an arena trogon calling now though, but we might. We'll just go up. Now, another question from Jake this morning. Well, I assume it's the same Jake. You're wondering what is my favorite bird? Secretary bird has to be my all-time favorite. I really do enjoy them. However, I think if I started to see the African emerald cuckoo regularly, that will probably become my favorite because they're just such beautiful birds and they've got a lovely call to go with it. So we've got my forest bird list of birds we want to see, and hopefully we'll be able to start ticking them off today. But we'll just have to wait and see what's around. I mean, they're not necessarily going to be in the same areas all the time. I do see something sitting up on the top of a tree. Heather, another great question. What is the most colourful bird in the area? There's so many. But just talking because we're here in the forest, the Turacos, so the Ross's Turaco or the Scallo's Turaco, very pretty. Very, very, very beautiful. The Narina Trogon is unbelievable as well. It's got lots of red on it and green and a white bar and its tail and yellow, and it's amazing. And even an African green pigeon, which doesn't sound as glamorous as the other birds I've just mentioned, but they're beautiful, got beautiful colors on them too. So there are so many lovely colored birds in this area. It could be really any of them. And then somebody said something about, I remember reading Twitter, I can't remember who it was. Someone said to me they would like me to find them a red-cheeked cordon bleu, I think it was. I don't even know that exists. I got hungry after hearing that bird's name. It sounds delicious. I don't even know where to find them. I don't know much about that particular bird species, so I'll have to do some research. But I just remembered seeing a picture, and they're bright blue, like a little wax ball with little red puffs on the side of its cheeks. So that was quite cool, but we'll have to figure out where on earth we're going to find one of those. Oh, why did I take this route? I'm going via the mud wallows today. We need to go towards the forest. We'll try and find a nice little place. Please don't be a hole on the other side of that. Okay, now I need to start checking in the trees, I suppose that's what we've come here for. Okay, we're going to make our way into this forest and try not get stuck or break down and find some birds for all of you. James is looking at a branch. I wonder if he's lost his mind.
She said, lost my mind. Some time back, Taylor. James Richard, this one is for you. That is a Waltheria flower. It is dead. It is from last year. Now, I said to you that this Waltheria plant was a perennial, at least an annual plant. Now, an annual plant is something that dies back every year, and then its seeds come back the year after that. This is definitely not a plant from this year, or from this growth season, so perhaps they are sort of semi-annual. I don't think that you describe them as perennial, because I think eventually they do die. Anyway, this plant has got one small flower on it, James. I've just discovered it. There it is over there. And you can see the leaves are withering slightly. And so I suspect this flower will not become anything too impressive. But there it is. At least there is a flower on it. And there has been a little bit of water here. And we can tell that even though I haven't been here, by, of course, asking the people that have been here. But if they were sort of abducted by aliens, for example, we could come through and see, yes, there has been some water. There is a Waltheria plant here with fresh leaves on it. But mostly, if you get in amongst this dry grass, you can see that there are bits and pieces of green. And like I was saying to you at the very beginning of this drive, that was not the case last year. So, well, it wasn't the case last year, say, around December, when the early flush had been totally destroyed by the heat that was the drought. Good. So that is the case over here. Let's move along down here and see what else we can see, other signs of spring. Maritza, you're wondering about the marula trees and if they have flowers on them yet. There is a marula tree over there. I don't see any flowers. What was that, Jandre?
They've already passed.
They've passed. Jandre says that there have been marula flowers and they have gone away already. There you are. Thank you, Jandre. If you could tell me that without making me look like a fool, that would be wonderful. Okay. Now, I have failed to find a mammal other than the very first nyala we saw earlier on, so I'm going to hand you over to somebody who has managed to find a mammal, one that has been seen already today, but a different subspecies thereof.
So Scott showed you a teeny tiny baby giraffe. I'm showing you a very old man giraffe. Now, I've asked Senzo to focus in on him chewing his cud, because if we watch very carefully, when he's done chewing his cud, he'll swallow it. But because his neck is so long, you can actually watch it go down. There it goes. And then watch, it's going to come back up. There it comes. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I still laugh every single time about that. So that's him getting all of his little nutrients out. And then you can actually see at the bottom of your screen there, he's got quite a large wound. It's not a new wound, it's an old wound. So there's those ossicones, the horns on top of his head aren't actually horns, they're ossicones, which many of our long-term viewers would know. And that's from fighting with other male giraffe. It's called necking. And when he gets old to this age, they're not territorial, but they do have a bit of a hierarchy within the males, and it's also just for access to the females. So they'll either stand shoulder to shoulder or shoulder to hip and swing their heads and then hit each other with those ossicones. They can break each other's legs, and that sound, that thwack, when they're doing it properly, can go for, yes, I've heard it up to about 1 kilometer. So this male here, he's standing with his ears forward. He's busy ruminating. He's not making any sort of alarm call. He might be communicating with other giraffe. He might just be having a nice old man day on his own. You never know. So giraffes are one of the 3 most requested mammals on safari, and one of the top 3 photographed, if not the #1 photograph. There's just nothing like a giraffe. It's its own special creature, and he's a very beautiful specimen. You can see how dark he is in color. So the older he gets, the darker he gets, and a lot of that has to do with just being out in the sun. Same as us. Our skin tones get darker the more we're in the sun. Shame you must have been in a big fight with that wound. So Senzo and I have done Treehouse Dam, we've done Twin Dams, we've done the Mulwati, we haven't picked up any tracks. I did just pick up some leopard tracks now, but they're extremely old. So we're on our way to Chitwa Dam, and we're going to see what we can find there. But this old boy stopped us for a bit. Ooh, Scott is up in Kenya in the Masai Mara, as we all know, and he has something really amazing to show you. I'm going to send you up there, and we're going to carry on this side. I hope you enjoy what he's found for you as a surprise.
I certainly am in Kenya, in the beautiful Masai Mara, and we have found who we set out to. It is Scar and at least one of his partners in crime who's busy feeding. Scar's the guy in the background with the balloon belly, and a number of lioness. They have managed to successfully kill a zebra, which the one male is busy chewing on. And who knows, maybe all those lioness and youngsters are in all likelihood waiting for him to finish up before they can then go in and feed on the scraps. It looks like Scar, as I said, had already had his full, and he's just enjoying snoozing now. And even when he's asleep, he still has such an impressive mane. Wonderful. Now there is a third coalition member that could be somewhere around, or maybe he's off with some of the other ladies that this pride is dominant over, patrolling their territory. Hard to be certain. We have just arrived on the scene. Always wonder what the lioness and youngsters think about the males just getting to eat most of the food while they have to wait patiently and often do a lot of the work bringing down this prey. An animal like a zebra, you know, these males probably had nothing to do with bringing down. They were probably lurking in the back while the ladies did all the work and then came rushing in as soon as they knew there was a meal. However, there are times when big males like this can be hugely beneficial to lioness when hunting bigger prey like buffalo. And happy to hear that as there are a lot of you expressing your excitement that we have in fact found old Scarface again. With that full belly though, I fear he may not move for the duration of the safari, but you never know. Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll get up and show us how impressive he looks when he's on the move. Hello, Lorne. You would like to know if Scar is the oldest male lion living in this reserve. And I think it would be difficult to say that categorically that he 100% is, but he definitely is an old male lion. And because this reserve is so big and because we are open to Tanzania and there's no fences around it, there's, I think, a large chunk of information that we actually don't know about the lions of this area. You know, certain male lions, nobody will know exactly when they were born, so then it would be difficult to know exactly who is the oldest. There's a lot of guesswork involved, I believe. Whereas in the Sabi Sands, a fenced reserve, even though it's open to the Kruger National Park, because all of the guides there keep such close tabs on the animals within their area and share information, I think there is probably a more effective way of being able to know who's who and how old certain individuals are. It's not to say even in the Sabi Sands people will know everything about all the animals, but definitely more so than here. Hello, Chitty Chatty Meg. Wonderful to have you with us. You'd like to know, I don't quite understand your question. You'd like to know if male lions are dominant over prides even when they are not around. And I don't quite understand, as in they're not with them. Oh, off you go, Narina Trogon with Taylor.
Oh, it's sitting so still. Go up a little bit. Yeah, okay, there we go. Top, and then record that. There we go. Are they coming to us? Are we live? Look at that. We've got the Narina Trogon. I'm so sorry I have no comms at the moment. But there it sits. Isn't this incredible? I'm so sad that I have got no comms. Curse, can you maybe talk to me? It's calling. It's calling. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Where did it go? I'm so sorry. Did you see it fly off? It did fly off. Let's just see where it went. Curse, sorry, can you please count to 10? I just want to try and fix my comms again. There, no, that's the dove. Oh, I got excited. That is incredible. I can't believe we got the Narina Trogon now. It's still around. Yes, yes. Oh, wonderful. I've got comms again. Thank you so much. Awesome. There we go. Now, they're quite elusive birds. You don't often get to see these beautiful creatures that fly. Where are you flying? Did you see where it flew from? Oh, it's just sitting there. Go straight in. Oh my goodness, look at this amazing view of this bird. Now, I know it's exciting that Scott has got Scar, but we won. We got the Narina Trogon on camera, and it was beautiful. It was out in the open. It's still hopping. I think it's, no, that's something else. I don't know where it's gone now, but we've been hearing it calling, and it's been moving around. Oh, it's just flown up into... yeah, in that gap there. Go in there. Oh, it just flew off to the right. Went off to, there it is. You got it again. If you go straight in, I don't know how much further you can go. Go down a little bit. Just sitting in the back of the branches. Now look how camouflaged you are. And typically birds that live in canopies like this, live in forests, will have some form of a green or a darkish plumage on their back, and that's to try and help camouflage them. Because if you're sitting amongst the leaves and there's a raptor, that's perhaps, I think, go top right, go top left, sorry. I saw something fluttering around. No, that's another little bird. I think it's gone too far back. How cool was that though? So by obviously having that green sort of beautiful camouflage, oh, my heart, I'm so excited right now. They can hide away in the trees, and then that beautiful bright red breast is a form of flash coloration, and we normally see it on the Turacos as well. They have another species of bird that has it quite well. So theirs is under their wings though. So essentially it's like a frog that has got flash coloration, or a locust. So they're very camouflaged on the top side, and if they feel as though they're spotted, they'll fly very short distance or leap a short distance, expose that bright coloration. With the Narina Trogon, it's on the breast, the bright red breast, and then land again. And you see how difficult it is to try and pick it up, and then sit very quietly, and then hopefully that bright color would have distracted the predator, and then it will allow them to get away, and they can go back to using the freeze technique. So locusts do it, frogs do it particularly well. We see it with a lot of the smaller species of frogs as well. Yes, we can tick it off the list. Let's get the book out. Right, where's this page? Forest birds. Now, I've seen many Narina Trogons in my life. I'm very lucky, but we can go done. How amazing is that? I'm so excited. I've been trying to listen out for the African emerald cuckoo, but I also, please excuse my spelling here. I was writing the list very quickly. I just realized I spelled emerald. Let me write it correctly. What's wrong with me? Come on, Taylor, you can do better than that. I must have been too excited when I was typing this. That was spectacular. I cannot believe we got to see it. I don't know if our luck is going to get better than that. I'm just seeing if I can hear it again. I can't. I can just hear some blackback puffbacks starting to call now. Oh, yes, listen carefully. You can hear the emerald cuckoo. You can hear it. And you can hear the Narina Trogon now. Now, Rebecca, you said that it's number 76 for you. Very cool. I think that would have been a new bird for a lot of you. And for those viewers who have been watching for years and years and years, it does become increasingly tough to start adding new birds to the list. Obviously, a different location, this kind of helps. I'm so happy because you have no idea how this Narina Trogon yesterday was bouncing about, and we could just see it was getting closer. We could hear it moving around in the forest, but we just couldn't get it. And when it was flying now, we're just watching, and I decided to actually sit a bit further away from the forest itself, hoping that if it does come to the edge, some of these trees are a lot bigger. Is that a kite? Is that a black kite? It looks like it, eh? I don't know if we're going to be able to get it with a roof. Maybe if it drops down. If it drops, it's got a typical characteristic, there we go, of a kite, a forked tail. And I don't think you get the yellow-billed kites over here. I think it must have been a black kite that very quickly just flew across as well. Woo! I'm so excited, and I look forward to seeing all of your screenshots too. So remember to hashtag Safari Live with those screenshots. That was a very, 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 very good view of an Narina Trogon. I remember sitting and waiting patiently. And I once knew this guy that used to be able to do an Narina Trogon call with his hands, and it was quite cool. And I tried really hard to do it, but I could never ever do it really well. But patience, my goodness, we've been sitting here just listening, waiting, hoping, and that today was our day. Now we need to just sit and be patient and hope that other emerald cuckoo just comes out this way too. I don't think so. I think we need to go in the forest for that. Anyways, James has got something else that sounds very exciting too.
Well, I don't know how exciting it is, and if ever there was a situation where the phrase sublime to the ridiculous applies, this is it. There, from the Narina Trogon, we have gone to something that has emanated from the back end of a hyena. Yes, hyena dung. This one was obviously some state of, shall we say, bowel distress. That was obviously fairly liquid when it came out of the hyena. But what we have got over here is the boundary point or midden of a hyena clan. I don't know which clan it is. I'm assuming it is our clan, and I'm looking forward very much to going back to the hyena den and seeing our friends there. But we think that this is probably a boundary marker for that clan. And so they all come past here, drop their dung, which then turns a glorious white colour here in the sunshine, of course, because of the calcium. And as I've said many times before, in fact, I've said many of the things that I've said all the time many times before, given the number of times we've walked around these areas, the calcium is not in fact white, which most of us think it is. Calcium, oxidized calcium, so calcium, what is it oxidized to? It oxidizes to calcium calcium oxide, yes, it will just be calcium oxide. It becomes this white colour. When it comes out, it's a little bit sort of browner and greener. Actual calcium is greenish tinged. So that's the story. Then we have a fallen marula tree, and if you are a small child or an adult, we are often quite childlike here, and you enjoy discovering little things in nature, this is gold, because underneath the bark you will often find little creatures. So let's have a look under here and see if we can't find something. I haven't actually found anything, so I'm going to look with you. Come over here, Jondry. We can see some interesting things. You want to go, let me go the other side there. If we look under here, yes, you see how artistic I am, Jandre, you see that? Yes, you see he's shaking his head in disgust. We have got the sort of tunnel made by termites, and they've come onto here and they've eaten away layers, almost sort of, well, perfectly, not symmetrical, but perfectly even layers of the wood they've eaten away, and then they've left this kind of tunnel-like material. And I was hoping to find a termite or two underneath them, but I don't see any at the moment. And of course, it being sort of before the real rains, we're not going to have a huge number of insects. Let's just, because I know that there's nothing, I'm going to not affect anything, I'm going to lift this up and see if there isn't something else underneath here, like a scorpion, hopefully not roughed underneath my finger. But there you can see what the termites have been eating. They've taken away lots of pieces here. and left this kind of waste. This is all cellulose. This is all almost completely indigestible to just about every single creature out here. Very nice. There have been spiders and things. I can see bits and pieces of web, but there's nothing here at the moment. How very sad. One thing I am very pleased about, I must confess, is the fact that the temperature is not so high. We've got a nice covering of cloud here at the moment, and I believe it was 20 degrees or 22 degrees when we started off, which is 68. I just worked that out in my head. Nobody told me. 68 degrees or so it was when we began the walk, and that's very pleasant. I think it'll get a little bit hotter today, but apparently there is some rain, perhaps in the offing later on this weekend. Kat, you say, is there anything I'm looking forward to now that I'm back at Djuma? Yes, absolutely. Pancakes for breakfast, I think, is the Thursday fare, and so that's what I'm looking forward to most, of course. No, I guess the thing that I'm looking forward to most is spending some time with leopards again, I think. Oh, sorry, Jean-André's just pointing at himself and saying, what about me? Well, yes, you too, Jean-André. So hopefully some leopards soon. I believe Tundi is pregnant, which is very exciting indeed. So that will be wonderful to see her with 2 little cubs, and well, hopefully Hosanna and young Tamba. I enjoy them both very much. Very sad, of course, that it seems that Shongile has shaken off this mortal coil as well, which is rather nasty. From that sadness, let us go across to the cheerful Noel, who is sitting at some water.
James, I'm also hoping to see all of those leopards. No luck on Hosanna. We have found you some beautiful little village weavers. I've also seen a southern masked weaver in here. And I just wanted to stay with them for a little bit for you all, because the males are busy building the nests, and they are extremely particular about building these nests. They come and they weave very intricately, little blades of grass that they pick very precisely. And the male that you're seeing now on the right-hand side, oh, there's one's out. He'd been busy building on the inside. The one you're seeing on the right there has been busy for the past sort of 15-20 minutes. And now he's just grooming himself and taking a bit of a rest. Then once they're finished, what you're going to see is the females will come and inspect. And if they don't like it, they make the males tear it apart. But they do it in such a way that the males get very uptight. You can actually see the frustration, and they rip the whole thing apart, and then oh, there's the one on the bottom sends. Yeah, let's see, maybe we'll go up. Now if you'll notice, that nest is a little bit different. It's got a little bit of a droopy part there, so that's from our southern masked weaver, as far as I could tell. You'll find that weavers really house themselves together, more eyes, more ears, more ears, and then it's just, you know, if a snake comes, they can mob it more easily. And then also notice that they're doing it at the ends of the branches, also to keep snakes away. There's a thought that when they build them low down on the tree, like the one that Senzo is pointing at now, it means we're going to have very little rain. And if they're building all at the top of the tree, it means we're going to have quite a bit of rain. And I would say 9 times out of 10 in my career, that's been accurate. So we've been looking for tracks for Hosanna, nothing. Quarantine has been found, but he's on Cheetah Plains. So unfortunately, we won't be able to view him. But we are going to head up to Kenya, where Scott has a male lion on the move, and give you a little bit of cat action that way. And we will keep searching, myself and James. James on foot and myself in the vehicle.
Well, we've caught up with, in all likelihood, 2 other members of the Musketeer Coalition. The coalition that Scar and that other male are a part of. And it looks like they too have already had their full and now decided to move off. So I'm guessing all 4 of the males would have consumed the majority of that zebra, leaving the females with nothing, and that's why we had that scene of the ladies waiting patiently for some leftovers. Okay, now we're going to have to reposition. They've moved into quite a thick area, as you saw. Come on, I hope we get some more views of them. Really happy that they're on the move. I haven't been very fortunate with big male lions on the move. I'm guessing we might get another glimpse of them as they pop out of this little croton thicket. Proud Cat Mama, you'd like to know if male lions ever do any of the hunting? Yes, they certainly do. And they can be very, very useful for the ladies and assisting them when hunting bigger prey, like buffalo, because they of course have the strength to pull them down. But as a general rule, male lions will be lazy and they will steal a lot of kills from their girlfriends. But we must remember that male lions spend a lot of time away from their ladies and therefore do need to be able to feed. There's one coming out, Manu, at 11, just next to a termite. No, not really next to a termite mound. I don't know how to describe it. Beautiful. Now, this was the individual who was in front. You wouldn't have seen him yet. He's gently calling back to his partner. What an impressive lion he is. Oh, hello, boys. Beautiful scenes. You guys just keep on doing that and keep coming straight towards us, please. I love it when you see what can be one of the most ferocious animals on the African plains being so gentle and delicate with one another. Well, I think we're in luck. It looks like they are going to continue straight towards us. With those full bellies, though, at any moment they could flop down and go to sleep. But these guys seem to be doing... Now we can see him getting ready to go to the toilet. But they were definitely smelling the bushes very intently. So maybe now that they've got a full belly, they're going to go and do some work and make sure that their territory is all intact and that there's no imposters. Definitely looking quite alert. Maybe they've picked up some audio of other male lions and that's why they're on the move. What a scene this is. I forgot to congratulate Taylor, everyone. Forgive me. And I'm so happy that you got to see the very shy and secretive Narina Trogon. And I also should have slipped in incredibly beautiful. I'm told you got some wonderful views. So well done to Taylor. She has officially got the Narina Trogon trophy. She will remain with it for her whole life, as nobody else now will have the chance to be the first to show you guys the Narina Trogon. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Interesting when they're right next to one another how you can notice how different their manes are. But as soon as they peel off, it becomes a little bit more tricky. Oh, thanks very much, Bliss. You said that this looks like Morani and Hunter. Thank you for IDing these two musketeers for us. That's very useful to know. No, I'm going to be naughty. We're not supposed to take pictures, but I have to because I've got very limited time left in the Masai Mara, and I would like to leave here with at least one decent picture that maybe one day I can show my children. I don't have any children yet, but maybe one day I'll get some. Marvelous. Now, it's not over yet. We are going to be able to loop ahead of them one more time. This is a no off-roading area. So, sorry. So we are going to get into a good spot and send you across to Noel, who has another predator of sorts.
Scotty D is holding down the fort with the big and hairy predators, but we have one of my favorite, I was going to say avian predators. I almost said feline because I was thinking of cats. We've got a beautiful, beautiful fish eagle. We're still here at Chitwa Dam. Just a couple of minutes ago, the blacksmith lapmet wings were busy dive bombing this African fish eagle, and if you look just at the top left hand side of your screen, there's a little blackbird that's up there. That's a buffalo weaver whose nests are the messy bits of sticks you see on the right hand side. So what Sens and I are doing right now is we're just sort of sitting here and waiting for this fish eagle to hopefully catch something. It's come to a shallower end of the dam, into the inflow of the dam, and there should be quite a bit of fish moving in and around that it can see from there. There, it's looking down, always cocking its head to the side. I don't know if you can hear the buffalo weavers in the background. Might be a little bit too far off, chattering away. They've just flown off and they're going to come back and add more sticks to their nest. Unlike the weavers we were seeing earlier, the buffalo weavers will be building their nests all year round in here. And right now they're just busy fixing them because the raining season's going to come. As opposed to the village weavers and the southern mass weavers that we saw earlier, they're only building those nests to breed in, not to live in. The buffalo weavers live and breed inside of their nests. And give you more of a wide angle view. You can see the inflow we're talking about. That building that you see on the right hand side is one of the chalets from Chitwa. Alright, our fish eagle seems to be waiting it out. So let's carry on and keep looking for felines from our side. It is a nice cool morning for them to be moving around. So I'm going to check the inflow, then I'm going to go around to the other side of the dam, check the outflow. So by inflow and outflow, what I mean is the dam wall, anything on the back side of the dam wall is going to be the outflow, and then anything that you're seeing down here when Senzo was panning in is the inflow. So if we get, say, floods for a reason, the flood's going to come through the inflow into the dam, and then if it needs to alleviate, it can outflow over the back side of the dam. Alright, let's head over to James on the other side of Djuma, and he is on walkabout. Hopefully he has found you something very interesting to discuss.
Well, it will be interesting shortly. It is a lily leaf that will hopefully turn into a very beautiful lily at some stage. While I'm sitting here, I believe I've caused some consternation by saying that Shongile has passed on. I thought that had been kind of established. I know that there has been no corpse found, but my reason for thinking it is that, yes, it's possible she just moved out of this area and tried to find a territory somewhere else, but I find it very unlikely, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, the area here, of course, is not full of female leopards. Her mother moved off or died, and that left a huge gap in the area. And secondly, of course, we know that female leopards, and as Karula's daughters specifically, used to set up or do set up territories right next to where their mothers used to live. And the fact that Shongile should have disappeared entirely and not been seen by any of the other lodges either, I think indicates that unfortunately some fate has befallen her. Maybe short on information, maybe she is being seen by someone else, but I don't think that is the case. So I'm afraid that's what I think's happened. And it's not unusual, it's pretty normal. It's very sad though. She was definitely my favourite when I left here all those months ago. So I'm sorry about that. Then, and if you want to discuss it, of course you may indeed send me through some questions. There is a spider there, Jean. I'm trying desperately to show you. In the top, oh dear, in the top of this grass stalk. I can't actually see the owner of this web. it's right here. Sorry, John, it's going to shake around everyone now. There. But there's a web there of a very delicate little spider of some description. He is actually in there, or she's in there. Tiny, about a millimetre across. Marvellous. Around me I can hear the white-browed scrub robin, which I have not heard for a long time. I can hear the chin-spot batis. I can hear also the long-billed crombeck. And one or two waxbills. I must say it's very pleasant being back here. And the most pleasant thing about it, of course, is being on foot once again. That connection with the wilderness is only possible when you're on foot. Anyway, that's the story there. Now, let's get up. Proud cat mama, you want to know what bird call is the most pleasant to hear? Well, it depends on your ear, really, you see. Some people like heavy metal, some people like rap music, some people like classical music, and some people like, no music at all, and they're not to be trusted. So it just depends on what you like. For me, I like the lilting song of the white-browed scrub robin. I enjoy the sort of deep flute-like song of the southern boo-boo. Genre, what do you like?
Daytime, the grey hornbill.
There we go.
The fiery neck nightjar.
There we go. Genre likes the fiery neck nightjar at night. A very good call, that one. And he likes the piping sound of the grey hornbill in the day. So it really does depend on what you like. For me, it is probably the white-browed scrub robin mixed in a little bit with the southern boo-boo. Both of those things, though, have memory attached to them for me, so that's that's why I like them. Also, what is it? I've forgotten the name. Oh, no, not the hardy-dar, Andre. The chagra, the black-crowned chagra. Good. On we go. We're heading now towards Buffelshoek Dam. We did find some leopard tracks. They were very old. Rexon thought probably about 3 days old or so. So we're not going to try and follow those. But Tundi is going up and down in this area. And Tristan, as I said, reckons 3 weeks until she is going to give birth, which is very exciting indeed. Let's have a look at what we can find here on this termite mound in the absence of that Sisyphus bush. Here is the parent Sisyphus bush. I can't see anything of great importance up here just yet. There's no leopard cub lurking underneath the branches. But what I am going to do for the first time in many months is eat a Sisyphus leaf. Very nice. I will let you know in secret, everybody. I had a terrible time the other day. I was attacked in Johannesburg by a dentist, and I'm now missing a tooth, unfortunately, and I've now got a Sisyphus bush stuck. I planted a Sisyphus bush where once there was a premolar. That has got nothing to do with safari. Let us break open this elephant tongue and see if we can't find a termite or two. Oh, here we go. Have a look here, Rondry. If you don't mind, do you think you might be able, shall I bring this to you? Or you? We can see little termites in here. And it strikes me that I was slightly insensitive there because, of course, all of them lack any pigment. And so, if it was a bright sunny day, they would almost certainly, well, not quite like a vampire, but a little bit like a vampire, have to seek the shade immediately or they would burn. And you can see they're slowly eating it away and replacing all of the organic material with sand and soil. And eventually, if you were to leave this entirely as is, the dung would just disappear, and it would eventually become a ball of dirt which would then disappear into the ground. And I think you'll find that they emanate from a hole like that somewhere around here. Just amazing stuff. Alrighty, let's leave that together. Now I believe that Scott is with 2 of the 4 musketeers in the Masai Mara. I must say I shall miss old Scarface, and I hope that he's still there when next I visit the Mara.
Hello everyone. We kind of have the male lions. I'm just going to have to jump onto the bonnet quickly. We call it a bonnet. Some of you call it a dashboard. And the reason why is because we're a little bit lower than them. They were making their way towards us, but I fear they may have plopped themselves down in a comfortable spot. That's no good. Yeah. Please keep coming towards us. But it's not looking promising. I think they may have, in fact, lay down to sleep, which is a great pity. I was hoping we were going to get one last view of them walking towards us. That impala was keeping a beady eye on them, and I was decided to possibly move to a less dangerous area. Hello, Dos Santos. You'd like to know how large do male lion coalitions get? And usually a coalition of 5 would be considered a big one. Occasionally there have been bigger coalitions of 6 and sometimes 7. But on average, 2 or 3 males per coalition, 2, 3, 4, it all depends on the area. And there's no set rules. But I think 7 is possibly the largest that I've heard of. Largest I've been lucky enough to see is coalitions of 5. And it certainly is an incredible scene to have 5 big male lions cruising around together. And one of my favorite things that you can experience 5 male lions doing is roaring close to the vehicle. If all 5 of them are facing towards you and they start letting out that incredible roar, you literally feel yourself vibrating. Well, let's just creep forward a bit and see if we can't somehow work another angle on the situation. I don't think we are going to be able to, though. But what we'll do is we'll see if we don't get lucky with them, and if not, we'll head back towards the other lions, other members of that coalition, and some of their ladies. For now, though, we'll send you to Noel, who is just perusing.
Hello? Yes, Scott, I also love hearing lions roar. It's one of my favorites. You can feel it in your chest. And we're just cruising, but cruising with a purpose. Still looking for tracks. I heard a rumor that Hassani, that's Tundi and Hassana together, by the way, that Hassana and Tundi were seen together last night, and that Tundi gave Hassana a little bit of what for. I'm still trying to figure out where that was. Maybe we can follow up. It's just all dependent. And yeah, still trying to find some tracks this side. Again, lots and lots of hyena tracks. No hyenas to be seen. Ooh, we do. We had a little steenbokkie down the road. I don't know if you could see it at the far end. It saw us and caught a scrit and ran away. But yeah, in general, a bit of a quiet morning. But it happens, especially when we're changing seasons like this, and we haven't fully come into the swing of summer yet, and we're still getting these chilly mornings. And if there's rain that's been dropping elsewhere, then everything's going to spread out quite a bit. And then also, I mean, I'm new to the Djuma area, but then also with a lot of the younger males that are still trying to establish who they are and where they want to be and territories and things like that, it does prove to be a little bit difficult. Once everything sort of settles down in the male department, we're going to start being able to get to them more regularly, if that makes sense. Look, I mean, leopards only want to be seen when they want to be seen, but it does make it easier when they've got certain boundaries that they need to demarcate, when they need to scent mark. So for now, yeah, everything's a bit here and there. Got quite a few Ellie tracks heading off to our south, and there was a few when I just came down Chitwa's access. We're gonna go back around the outflow of Chitwa Dam. You never know, that little lagoon. I don't know if anyone was watching last week when Tristan had, I believe it was Hasana, and the hippos in the back there. So they tend to like to curl up in the back, but we will see. It is nice, just in general, just to be out. So regardless of what's happening. Glenda, you're wondering when will the ever popular dung beetles be back. So Glenda, I was shadowing Steph on walk yesterday morning, and every sort of dung pile I came to, I was messing around in looking for the dung beetles. Because we haven't had our first full rains yet, they're still underground, but I'm hoping they'll be back. Glenda, I don't know, shall we make a bet? Shall we see, when do you think, if you had to pick a date, when do you think we will see dung beetles? I'm gonna say 2 weeks. What is today, the 10th? So the 24th of November is I'm gonna say 1 week. The 17th of November is gonna be my day. What would you say, Glenda? Wait for that response. Oh, we've got impala. A little rank of impala. Let's have a look here. No, ladies, stay where you are, please. There we go. Now, something that's super interesting about impala, especially for the area that we're operating in, is as you know, especially the viewers that have been with us for a really long time, we go through periods of dry and wet and dry and wet and dry and wet. Not just seasonal, but meaning droughts and flooding, sort of every 7 to 10 years, roughly, right around in there. So with impala are super water dependent. They need to drink water every single day. Now, species like sable and roan, which historically would have been in this area, they don't need water as much as impala do. So when we as humans started building these wilderness areas, I mean, Kruger Park, I believe, I can stand correct on this, but I believe Kruger Park is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, demarcated national park in the world. We decided, because as humans we need water, that all the animals also need as much water as we do. So we established these fixed water holes. And by doing that, we allowed species like the impala to outcompete species that don't need as much water. So we see impala every single day, but we're not necessarily supposed to see as many impala as we do. Just our interesting thought for the day. All right, the 23rd of November. All right, so we have a date. Mine's the 17th, yours is the 23rd. You'll have to help remind me about those. And then the dung beetles. Dung beetles are absolutely fascinating. One of my very dear friends did his PhD on dung beetles, so I'm actually going to need to get a hold of him before our dates are set and see if he has any new information for us. All right, we are going to head back up to Taylor in East Africa and see what she has in store for us that side. I'm super jealous of her Narina Trogon. I have only heard one, never seen one, so hopefully she's got something else up her sleeve.
searching. No, we're not searching. We're looking at very dramatic light at the moment. It faded very quickly though, so it's not like it was, but there was a clear divide in the sky by this one cloud, and everything to the right was completely covered in darkness, and then to the left of that it was amazing because it was such bright light and all the crepuscular rays coming down. But it has changed so quickly, but that sort of thing happens out here. It was very, very beautiful though. Now it's not so dramatic. It was weird, and also sort of like an orange and sort of orange tinge. Just try and get out of these ruts now. Whee! Nope, not joining the Marshmallow Club again. That will be too easy. So, something funny. Remember yesterday how we watched that other vehicle and they were stuck while I showed you the video? We drove through it. I just wanted to see if I could go through with no 4x4, whatever. It was very easy, in fact. I normally engage 4x4 for just a bit of everything. I don't want to get stuck. And so I don't know how that guide got stuck. I wonder if his gear wasn't just in neutral. So, a few days ago, I found this leaf. Not a leaf, it's part of a tree. And it's got these lovely little yellow fruits on them. You can see, I don't think that they're ripe just yet. I'm not sure what color they're going to go when they're ripe. They've got a leaf like a guarri, but it's not a guarri. I'm wondering if it's one of the ash trees, but I don't know what type of ash trees we get here. I'm just trying to remember all the vegetation from my Zambian days. Me try and shelter the wind that's blowing it around quite a bit. But it's very, very pretty. And it looks like it's going to get maybe little white or yellow flowers. You can see. I'll have to try and find some more. But hopefully you can take some screenshots of this as well, though I have this, and we can try and figure out what tree it is. And like I said, maybe an ash tree. I don't think, yeah, that's the closest thing I can think of. It had relatively smoothish bark too. But we will see if we can try and find some more. So there we go. That's something I picked up from the other day. And I forgot to show you, I've been saving it for when it was particularly quiet, and it is exceptionally quiet this morning. No, I don't know where the sausage tree pride are. I think they're in the witness protection program. They're hiding out somewhere. Cheetah, nothing just yet. We're still scanning around on the escarpment. I have actually a bit of a loss as to where to go. We might go down the Ngoriari road and see if we can't find one of those bigger prides of lions that are around there. But no good for us in the Mara today, but these things happen sometimes. There was one of the Angama guides going past. I think it was Benjamin. I didn't really have a proper look as to who was driving. Well, shall we follow him? Should we just follow him for the rest of the morning? Maybe he'll lead us somewhere. Oh my goodness, it seems as though James has become quite broody, and I don't know if he's making a nest or he's found one. Let's go and take a look.
Taylor is quite a sassy lady, wouldn't you say? Sassy Taylor. We're sitting here at a nest of some sort that Rex thought may be a dove's nest. I'm not sure. Here it is, over here. There's a beautifully constructed little cup of sticks and leaves, and actually there's a bit of elephant dung, or probably buffalo dung actually in it. But all around here we've got Polyrhacus ants, and they seem to be feeding. Oops, I knocked one off. They seem to be feeding. I knocked two off. They seem to be feeding on these buds, and I don't know what these buds are exuding. It must be some kind of what we'd call honeysuckle, I guess, which is a sort of, hang on, I can hear oxpeckers. One doesn't want to be set upon by a buffalo while one is looking at Polyrhacus. The oxpeckers have absconded now. Anyway, what was I going on about? The exuding of honeysuckle, a sort of generic term for the sweet substance that plants produce in order to attract insects. And I think that's what this tree is doing. Now, why it's doing that is a different question, but often plants do it in order to attract the ants that will then... Have I got the story correct? No, they do it... What is going on here? Yes, sorry. They will often produce some kind of honeysuckle in order to attract insects that perform various functions, be they that of vector, so looking after the pollination, or in fact security. And sometimes ants like this provide security for a tree like this. They'll bite things that come to browse on it, but I don't know if that's the case here or not. Then we have another very tiny little spider here, Chandra. This is going to test your skills. You're not going to be able to blame me for moving it, because I'm not going to touch it. It is just over there. Can you see it? It is about 1 millimeter long. To those of you working in the imperial system, there is no small enough measure to describe 1 millimeter. Can you see it there? A furry little spider, part of the orb web spider family, the Iranidae I think it's called. Many spiders in the orb web family, and this is one of the very smaller members. And it'll be hoping for something tiny like one of those sweat bees or sweat flies to come flying through here. But the delicacy and detail in this and symmetry of it, just continuously astounding to me. Well done, my dear, well done. You're very clever. Fuzzman the Great, apparently you're hoping to find a scorpion. I will... Oh, Huzman. Huzman? Huzman? Huzman the Great. You want me to find you a scorpion? Huzman the Great, I will do my level best to find a scorpion. With a name like that, you should be able to demand absolutely anything you want. Okay, let's continue. That was the tree, of course. I've lost it now. The silver cluster leaf. Terminalia sericea. Grief. Things really have got a little, a little muddled in my brain. I have, of course, had a birthday since I saw you last, and so perhaps it's age catching up with me, Chandra. Imagine I'm still doing this when I'm 75 years old. Oh, there is Waltheria, dead, still, almost like me. Okay, I think we're going to go across to Noelle. I don't know what she's doing or where she is. I would obviously have to have a little... Oh, sit down over here. Perhaps a small sleep. I'll see you shortly.
Shame, Cookwan, James. No, man, you're only as young as you feel in your head. I'm so sorry you have to sit down. All right, we're still doing our loop. So we've looped and looped and looped. Only hyena tracks. We're gonna pull down into the outflow, and let's cross fingers, hold thumbs, whatever else we can do, cross toes, and then see. I just have to remember where this little road is. Lots of Ellie tracks, but I think these Ellie tracks that I've been seeing now are from your sighting you had yesterday with Tristan. I do not think they're from today. From what I can see, I'm on the wrong little road, Senzo. I can see it. Sorry, guys. Let's just reverse here. I had a little moment. I think maybe, what is today? Is today Friday? Maybe everything went for a long weekend. It's a possibility. On a little bit of a holiday. Thanks, Kirst. It is Friday. Sorry, I did say we were going to go to the outflow, but I've actually just seen sends at our 9 o'clock. There's a pied crow that's in that dead tree. This pied crow was here the other day when we watched those hippos with the afterbirth. It was busy trying to get in, but the fish eagle wouldn't let it in. And now it's resting in here. But just now, it was sort of on top of on top of the buffalo weaver's nest. Yeah, that's him there. Sorry guys, just excuse me one second. Station, looking for station Chitwa Dam wall, come in.